Salut, bonjour, and welcome to francofille Knits, a creative podcast. My name is Devin, and this is where I document my knitting and other fiber-related crafting. You can find me on Instagram and Ravelry at bdevin. You can find the podcast group on Ravelry if you search francofille Knits in the groups tab. You can also find my Etsy store, Instagram, if you search at francofille Knits, and yes, my Etsy shop for my yarn is francofille Knits. So bdevin, francofille Knits, you can find me. I feel like that little intro spiel is almost the same every week, but not quite. I think I'm on episode 49 or 50. You'd think I would just have that down pat by now, but no. I used to have notes that I worked off of in the very beginning. I just talk at this point and pray that it makes some sort of sense by the time I finish. Hashtag podcast real talk. If you are new to the podcast, thanks for tuning in. Hopefully that little bit of, I just kind of wing it doesn't completely turn you off, but if it does, I understand. If you are a returning viewer, thank you for coming back and continuing to come back. I was gonna say put up with me, but that's a little overly harsh, I think. Let's see here. Today is May 11th, Thursday. I'm hoping to record, edit, and publish this podcast all tonight, so we shall see if that is super ambitious or not, if that's actually possible. I apologize if you can see my little ring light in my glasses reflection. I'm gonna try and keep my head remotely still so that it doesn't show up, but I got this suggestion of adding a little light onto the front of my camera to help with the issues I was having with my camera not adjusting, like having issues like with completely washing me out because I am super pale against a blackboard. So hopefully adding a little extra light will keep that from happening, but you know, it comes with its own challenges, so I just need to stop looking. Sorry, the hand there is so that I'm not looking at myself on the screen. I'm looking just instead into the camera. I'm an awkward human being, and like a parakeet, I can't help but look at myself, apparently. Anyway, how are you guys? I've got a couple things to talk to you guys about. Lots and lots of socks. I've still got the sweater. The sweater is progressing. And I do want to clarify a couple things when we get to the sweater. And then a little bit of shop update talk, including a couple fun new colorways that will be available on Friday, tomorrow, the 12th at 8 p.m. Eastern. So yeah, let's go ahead and just dive right in. So my May Sock Club socks are done. I finally have a finished pair. I love this pattern. We'll talk in a minute about just how much I love this pattern, but I am super freaking thrilled. Again, I think every time I show you guys a finished pair of socks on this, I tell you how I don't wear them. I wait to wear them until I show them to you on the podcast. And it has been so hard not to just throw these on. Like, part of me was just like, you know, the little angel and devil on my shoulders. The little devil was saying, well, they've already seen the half-finished object. They've seen one finished one. You just tell them they're finished and, you know, move on from there. And, the angel won out because clearly they're living on sock blockers. I so desperately wanted to throw these on, though. They're so pretty. I'm very proud of myself with this pattern. I really, really, really love it. I think it's really pretty. It's amazingly memorizable. I'm gonna pretend that's a word. I don't know if intuitive is the right word for it, but it's, you quickly just kind of fall into the rhythm of it. Yeah, I'm just really, really pleased. And yeah, they fit really, really well. In part because, you know, I designed them with the features that I know I like for my feet, right? Because I know at least I will be wearing them, right? I'm not going to design socks that don't fit me well, you know? Like, what would be the point? Yeah, I love this sideways toe. I don't think I'll be getting over it anytime soon. Heel flap and gusset construction. I'm going to be trying it out with an afterthought heel in a minute. And it'll be coming up, I'm sure, in the next couple weeks. But yeah, I love this. I love the colorway. This is again, the May Sock Club colorway. I'm calling Sunset on the Seine. And I talked about the inspiration and all that last week, but I just really love this sweet pale peach colorway. It's going to be available again for just kind of general purchase in August, right? Because they're exclusive to the Sock Club for 3 months. I do believe there's one skein left as of right now in the Etsy shop. Sorry, I realized in the middle of last week that I hadn't opened up as many slots for May as I did for April, so I corrected that. Fun fact. I announced it over Instagram. Instagram is, I mean, if you want like the real-time updates on what's going on with me or stuff going on with the shop, Instagram is the place to be. That is where I am most active. Yeah. I've got a couple friends who are having babies, and I kind of want to dye some of this up for like baby clothes. I think this would be a really sweet baby sweater colorway. We'll see. But yeah, it'll be available for real in the shop in August. So stay tuned for that if you didn't manage to snag one for the Sock Club. I love this colorway. It's so pretty. Yeah. So yeah, that is what happened with my first Hirondelle socks. My finished objects, I'm going to be throwing those on as soon as I stop recording. My feet are already looking forward to being a little bit warmer. I have already cast on a second pair of Hirondelle socks. All right, you can see on here I've got Hirondelle part 2. Yep, because I'm a huge dork like that. Yeah, I already cast on my second pair. This is for the Get Lit and Knit Spring Socks Knit Along. Wanted to make sure I got the name right on that one. So I talked about Allie and Abby last week and their knit along, and I finally got my pair of socks cast on. I think I finally got my prize shipped out to them. If not, it'll be going out the mail today. But yeah, the pattern again is the Hirondelle, my May Sock Club pattern. The pattern is available on Ravelry if you are interested, and I'm knitting it up in this gorgeous colorway from Annie of Hand Knits and Things. Annie, I keep your card on my kitchen counter for some reason. Annie's card just sits on my kitchen counter, mostly because it makes me smile, and I'm terrible about putting things away. So, again, real talk. Right, there we go. But yeah, so the colorway here is Into the Great Unknown, I believe. I think I'm not making that up. And yeah, I'm in love, right? So I'm really, really, really happy with this project. I was a little bit nervous as I was knitting the ribbon, not because I didn't love the colorway, right? The colorway I immediately was in love with. I was a little afraid it might be a little much for all the patterning going on, right? Because there's some, sorry, I'm like leaning in, hopefully it's adjusting correctly. Right, there's a lot of different colors going on. There's these gorgeous speckles of turquoise and dark purple and this really saturated green. There's these areas of mauve and gold and lighter green, right? It's just absolutely gorgeous. But as I was going through the ribbing, right, and you can see there's some patterning in the ribbing as well, I was a little afraid that it might be too much, but as I've kind of gotten deeper into the pattern, I'm not concerned. I think it's going to be really, really, really gorgeous. Sorry, I'm like putting it on my hand to try and stretch it out just a little bit more to give you guys a better idea of what is going on, right? There you go. And I don't know, I don't really think the colorway competes with the pattern or that the pattern competes with the colorway, right? I don't think they get in each other's way. I think it just ends up working out really well, which I'm so pleasantly thrilled, pleasantly surprised about. Because I don't know if I believe I talked about this in an episode a couple weeks ago. My first thought for the May Sock Club colorway didn't work out with this pattern, right? It was just, there was too much going on, so I went with, I basically scaled back the amount of specklings and I tweaked the colors a little bit too. And I'm thrilled with it now, but yeah, so I was a little nervous, but this just works out really well. I'm not quite sure why. I think it's possibly because, well, there's a lot of colors going on. The contrast between all the different colors is not very strong. So it ends up just playing, I don't know, they all just end up playing beautifully together, right? You get these pops of contrast, you know, bigger contrast going on with some of the darker speckles, but most of the color variation is kind of right all within the same tone, maybe? I think that's the right term. I don't really remember. I need to study up my color theory a little bit more so I have the right terminology. Yeah, I'm surprised at how well this colorway and this pattern are working together. And this colorway, here, I can show you on the area that's got more stockinette. Really, I mean, I'm so glad that there is just bands of stockinette to really show off the colorway. It's just so pretty. And he's just got a great eye. Yeah. So these are eventually going to be my second pair of Hirondelle socks. The knit along that I'm knitting these for runs until the end of June, I want to say. It's May 1st to June 30th, I believe. And it's all being run over Instagram. So if you are planning on knitting a pair of socks over the next 2 months, definitely use the hashtag, I believe it is hashtag spring sock, singular, KAL, knit along. I'll probably, hopefully remember to put it up as a title here, or will have already done so. Fingers crossed that I remember to do that as I'm editing. But yeah, it's yeah, I'm really excited, and I'm glad that I've got plenty of time to work on it, because it's such an enjoyable knit. I don't want to feel rushed as I'm going through it, right? Like, I do have to say that is the one downside for the monthly sock clubs for me, right? Is that you know, I'm knitting them on a deadline, right? These projects, I need to get the pattern out by a certain date. I need to have the colorway dyed up and all that kind of stuff. So they're not a leisurely, relaxing knit for me, right? It's work, right? This is my job. It's enjoyable, but it's not a leisurely, sort of relaxing, enjoyable sort of thing for me. Trust me, I will never, never complain that this in any way, shape, or form is my job. Like, that is not, there's nothing for me to be complaining about there. Like, I've already got, for example, right? The June Sock Club signups are going to be opening up this week. That's going to be in this week's shop update. And I almost reached to grab it. I've already got the colorway dyed up, and I'm going to be casting that on this evening, actually. This weekend. I want to finish up one more thing before I cast that on. But, right, that's kind of the schedule I work on. I want to get the pattern out by the 31st. I love having this calendar behind me right now. So if today's the 11th, it's going, sign-ups start on the 12th. I'm going to start on the 13th. I need to get the whole thing out by the 31st, right? So it takes a little bit of time to design it, knit it up, and write the pattern. I mean, a lot of these things happen concurrently, right? Like I typically start off, let's see here. Like I'll start the entire project with an idea of what I want to do, right? So before I've even dyed up the colorway, I have an idea of what I want for that entire month, right? For the finished sock and pattern and everything. So I'll have some sort of theme in mind, and that's kind of how I progress. So yeah, so I mean, it takes a while, so I'm glad, wow, that was a big digression to basically say that I'm glad that I've got until the 30th to knit this pair of socks, nice and just at a comfortable pace, and really enjoy this pattern. I really enjoy this pattern. Let's see here. What to tell you about June? June, I can tell you that it is definitely a brighter colorway. It's very vibrant and very summery. I've been in the mood, I think partly because it's been so cold for May, or at least compared to how it was in April. You can see I'm wearing a sweater and a shawl. Like I'm cold, and looking forward to pulling on wool socks, right? Like it's days like today where I'm glad I'm a knitter so that I can bundle up and not be freezing. I'm a little sad my sweater's not finished just yet because today is a day where I really want to wear it. And I will promise you that regardless of how hot it is, the episode where I'm showing it off as a finished object, I will be wearing it. Like, I don't care if it's 80 degrees that day. I will crank up the AC for a minute so I can... I'm a crazy person. This is probably true though. Yeah, huge digression. Anyway. June sock colorway, very vibrant. That was what it was. It's very vibrant, very summery. The pattern is going to be simpler. It's going to be simpler than this, and it's going to be different from anything I've done so far. It's going to be another... I haven't decided yet if it's going to be top down or toe up. I haven't cast it on yet. So, I suppose I'll have more details on the pattern itself next week, maybe? It'll still be a secret though. Yeah, like that's the other thing. Like I'm casting it on this weekend. I'm not going to be able to talk to you guys about it until the first week of June. So, be prepared to hear me talk about or complain about secret knitting for the next couple episodes too. Yeah, it's really cool. I'm really excited about it. It may be my most on-trend colorway, maybe? I don't know. I like it. I'm excited to cast it on. I have been holding myself back, but I feel like having 4 sock projects that I'm actively working on is excessive. I am forcing myself to hold off on casting on just yet. Need to clear off some needles first, but yeah. Oh, one other thing I did want to say about these. All right, the yarn that I'm using, The base is, I don't remember what Annie calls it, but it's a 75-25 blend of superwash merino and wool or nylon, and it's about 460 yards for 100 grams, right? It's that kind of slightly thinner 4-ply fingering weight sock yarn. And after my March sock madness, I realized that with this base, and I've got one, a similar base in my store, I need to, for socks that I'm gonna really like, I need to go down to size 0, US size 0 needles, which I believe is a 2mm needle. That sounds right. Right. So, and then I have to up my stitch count to 72 stitches instead of 64. 64 is normally kind of my happy cruising point for socks. Yeah, kind of like my ideal socks, I'm using 400 yard for 100 grams yarn. I'm not too particular about the wool to nylon percentage. I do like some nylon, but I don't know. I haven't had any issues yet. No wood. Yes, there's wood for me to knock on. I haven't had any issues yet with knitting socks out of just superwash merino wool or just a superwash wool. But I like my yarn just a slightly thicker weight, just a little bit, and I like knitting on either US size 1s or 1.5s, kind of depending on what else is going on in the pattern. So those are my normal preferences that I only really realized I had in March, but I'm glad that I've realized that, so that I made the adjustments here, and I've added in a couple extra stitches. I've added in 8 extra stitches in this pattern to bump it up to 72 stitches. So I'm going to be actually updating the pattern on Ravelry so that there'll be charts and written descriptions for both 64 and 72 stitch counts. Yeah. I don't know if I could bump it down to 60 or to 56. I don't think I could. I'm sorry. Oh, that's a huge digression. Anyway, no, actually I could. I take that back. Sorry, huge digression. So, yes, love these socks. Very happy with them. All right, so those same preferences in terms of stitch counts and needle size and all that kind of stuff hold true for my last pair of socks as well. I am knitting up some socks in my Summer in Provence colorway. Here it is all caked up. All right. And I have been wanting to knit this up as a pair of socks for about a year now. I think I came up with this colorway about a year ago, and I've basically been forcing myself to hold off this entire time. And I'm really, really glad that I allowed myself to just give in to the desire because I'm actually really, really thrilled with how it knits up. I love this colorway. It will always hold a special place in my heart. I'm really glad that I've brought it back. Yeah. So this is on my chaussette base, which is again a 75-25 superwash merino and nylon blend. It's again about 463 yards for 100 grams, right? So for a normal skein. So it's a lighter fingering weight. It's not a light fingering weight. I feel like that tends to be like the 500 or more yards per 100 gram skein sort of weight or whatever. But it's a little bit lighter than some other fingering weights, right? So I did bump it up again to 72 stitches, and I'm knitting it up on US size 0 needles. So it's again a 2mm needle. And I am was actually a little bit surprised that I have 2 sets of US 0 DPNs. I don't know if I have Cirques, size 0 Cirques. I don't think I do. So luckily I've got the 2 sets of DPNs, and luckily I don't mind knitting on DPNs. Sorry, my hair is doing a weird flippy thing. But yeah, toe up, I'm doing basically my French vanilla socks. All right, I've got my little sideways toe going there. And I'm gonna be adding in an afterthought heel eventually. So at this point, it's just a stockinette tube. So this has been really, really just a delight. A really mindless knit. We've been doing a lot at the house basically for the last week, so it's been nice to have a mindless knit that I can pick up and put down kind of between projects, right? Like between loads of laundry, or you know, waiting for coats of paint to dry or things like that. We've been doing some more work on Jordan's home office this week, so I have painted it. I am our designated house painter. So I got that painted this week. We got the drywall up, obviously, in order for me to paint it. We've been working on getting the flooring in. So we did the vapor barrier and the underlayment, and I think Jordan has started actually putting the flooring itself in. So we're working on getting that space all finished. So it's been some heavy lifting. Well, Jordan's actually done most of the actual heavy lifting, as he is much stronger than I am. But yeah, so it's been nice to have something I can just kind of pick up and add a couple rows to without much thought, kind of between all those projects. But yeah, hopefully, I'm really pleased with how it's turning out. I think it's going to be a really great space. And I'm really glad that he's going to have like a dedicated space of his own in the house for work. Because up until this point, he's been working just in a corner of our basement. We put his desk and computer up in the corner, like a literal corner of our basement. And it's just been a little sad. So I'm glad that he's, because I mean, I've got a corner of our basement too, but I've been working over the last year to kind of make it a little homier, a little cozier, and just like a little bit more, I don't know, inspiring and inviting for me to work in. You know, a space that I wouldn't dread just going down to, whereas his is literally just a giant desk that I refinished and he's staring at a cement wall. Right? When you're going through an unforeseen career change, you at least want the place you're going to be working in to be not depressing. Poor guy. But yeah, so his office is coming along nicely. I'm putting a lot of work into it. And I have had some mindless knitting to accompany that, because that was perfect timing. Jordan, I don't know if you could hear that. I'm sure you could. Jordan just fired up his, I think, table saw. Maybe? I don't know. He's got a couple different pieces of equipment down there. I can't tell by ear which piece he's using, but he fired up one of his saws. He must be working on the flooring again. So as soon as I'm done recording, I'm gonna take off my nicer clothes. I'm gonna go put on some grubby clothes and help him out. But yeah, one last project, and hopefully I don't have to take too many breaks while I'm recording for this saw. My last project to talk to you guys about is my Clarke pullover. I'm going to back up a little bit to show you guys more. Can I just say that I've got it folded up and it almost looks like a real sweater. Like, it looks like a real sweater right now. But that's a lie because it's still missing a sleeve. But check it out. I finished the sleeve, right? It's got a little cuff on it and everything. And I finished the neckline. think I showed you last week. The hemline is all done. So I'm really, I mean, literally the only thing I have left to do is this sleeve, because I even wove in all the ends everywhere else in the sweater. So yeah, I just have a sleeve left, and I've been trying it on, and I'm thrilled, right? This is going to be just the comfiest, coziest, like casual throw it on sweater ever, right? The sleeve is a little bit weird, I will say. I think I may have knit it a size too big. Like if I wanted it to be like really properly fitting, because like the armpit is way too low, right? It is definitely, I think I have more than the 4 inches of positive ease, but I have no idea how to figure that out. But yeah, I think the armpit basically is like here, right? Like I've got a lot of space, but I did, with the sleeve, I didn't knit it as written, or at least I didn't knit it as long as the pattern tells me to, or I guess would like, because I'm short and I have short arms. But so I kind of tried it on. Let's see here, I'm gonna scoot over, maybe you can see the issue. Right? This is ridiculous, like my armpit is here. But I tried it on and started the cuff about 3 or 4 inches shorter or sooner than the pattern called for, because I wanted it to actually hit my wrist, right? Like I want it right there. Because honestly, when I wear sweaters, I like pushing up my sleeves a lot. That's usually how I'm wearing them. But I'm a complicated and annoying human being because I don't like 3/4 length sleeves. I would rather push my sleeves up than have a 3/4 length sleeve. I don't claim to understand why, I just know myself. So anyway, I knit the sleeve to the correct length for me, and I am so freaking excited about this dang sweater. I have been watching a ton of cable news over the last 48 hours. Today is May 12th. This whole Jim Comey thing has just sucked me in. Not even gonna get into any thoughts about it. It is so incredibly complicated, regardless of what your stance is on any of the characters involved. I am just enthralled with what is happening. I'm finding this whole thing very fascinating. I love politics. I know a lot of people don't, but I love knowing what's going on. I don't know. I'm a know-it-all. I'm a busybody. I know these things about me. And I think that's probably why I enjoy politics so much. I need to know what is happening. It's just like this pathological thing. I'll own it. I am well informed most of the time. I have opinions. I do not proclaim or profess that they are correct or the right way to think on anything. They're just, right? My life experience has led me to certain opinions. Anyway. But yeah, the sweater has been perfect for that. Very mindless. I've been able to get a lot done while watching a lot of cable news. Yeah. I'm really excited about this sweater. I'm all over the place. It's fine. I'm just so afraid that somebody's gonna like leave a message about the situation. Like I'm not talking about any of my thoughts on it other than I'm fascinated by what is happening, and I don't want to get into any kind of discussion about it, especially not on the internet, because I feel like, anyway, nothing good comes from discussing politics on the internet. I'll just say that. In person, sure, right? When you can actually get into something face to face and discuss things, that's fine. But the comment section, right, or things like that, not the place to do that. And I've learned that the hard way over the years. cut all of that to just preemptively prevent that from happening. Possibly not. Whatever. Now that I've talked about politics, let's talk about my Etsy store. Alright, one last thing before I run downstairs to help Jordan on the floor of his office. We're going to be laying some flooring down. So I've got 3 new colorways available in the shop this week. The shop update is going to be Friday, tomorrow night, May 12th at 8 p.m. Eastern. And let's see, yeah, like I said, I've got 3 new colorways to show you guys, in addition to what's basically left from the last couple shop updates. So there's a whole bunch of stuff in there, a lot of really good stuff that all, I don't know, I think is perfect for spring. So spring and honestly summer knitting at this point. There are a couple skeins of summer in Provence left. Just gonna throw that out there. I love this colorway. But yeah, so a couple new ones. Let's see here. First one I'm going to show you, I haven't named yet. I'll come up with something between now and tomorrow night. And they were just kind of me having fun in the dye pots. Kind of anarchy colorways. Well, they're not real true like anarchy dye pots where you don't make notes of what you're doing. You just kind of dye things up. Because I always make notes. I'm a little obsessive. Mostly because I think at first I did not obsessively take notes about my colorways and then could not repeat what I wanted to do. So anyway, here's the first one, right? Really having fun with some bright new colors. This one's really cool because it's got like these sections of just a super intense aqua and sorry, just the way it's scanned up you can't really see. Sort of more intense, sort of this cornflower blue almost. All right, and they both kind of fade out a little bit more, and there's some speckles of the kind of purpley blue color, and then some orange speckles too. Get that on there too. I'm really enjoying this. This was almost the June colorway, but I decided I wanted it up in the shop, like on view, not a secret. Yeah, really, I need a good name for it. If you can come up with a good name for it before 7 p.m. on the 12th, leave it in the comments below, because I would love a name for this. I don't know what to name it. I don't know, it's just summery. I like it. But yeah, so I'm enjoying that one. And then that is on my Chaussette base, and then I've got a couple of this other brand new colorway. This one is on my Normandy base. Right, and it's not, I gotta hold it back a little further maybe, then the light will be right. Take off my cameo shawl. Is that showing up correctly? Actually there, it's pretty good. So again, very vibrant colors, and then I did some darker purple speckles on this to kind of play around with contrast, but it's got these areas of like really intense chartreuse speckling, some paler sort of like pale yellow green, and then this sort of, it's not quite aqua, right? It's greener than aqua. I don't know quite what to call it. It's not coming out right. Right, it's just it's a little bit greener than the aqua, right? But yeah, I really, well, there we go. That's actually really true to life there. Yeah, I don't know why I'm so in love with this colorway, but I really, really enjoy it. Right, and then again, I've got a couple skeins of it available. And this is on my Normandy base. Right, just really fun, light, bright colors. Love the sort of intense contrast with the purple speckles. It is like a deep, like red purple. If I hold it up close, get that there. It's really fun. And again, don't have a name for this colorway either. So again, if you have a name for this colorway and you can get it to me before 8 p.m. on the 12th, I would love to hear it. So the last colorway, last new colorway to show you guys is also inspired by a knit along that I think I'm going to jump in on as well. Kristen of Wool and Vine and, of Wool and Vine Yarns and the Yarngasm podcast, and Shauna of Adelaide Cottage are hosting a mauve along. So I decided I wanted a colorway to kind of go along with that. So I've got this, which I'm calling Mon Cœur, right, or my heart, right, which is a gold and mauve colorway with really sweet speckles of chocolatey brown, like a teal green, right, and then let's see if I can find some in here. Right, there's some really sweet here's some just on the front there, kind of a darker Cabernet, right, sort of a more intense mauve color speckle, right, all throughout it. So I have it dyed up currently on my chaussette base, right? But over the next couple weeks, I'll probably be dyeing it up on some other bases too. I love this colorway, and I think it'd be perfect as socks, or obviously I think everything is perfect for socks. But I think it'd be really great for a shawl, actually, for a shawl or really any sort of anything. I think it's kind of like Into the Great Unknown in that I don't think, like, there's enough contrast in the speckles to keep it interesting and to provide depth, but I think the value of the mauve and the gold, there's not a ton of contrast there. So I think it'd be just really interesting knit up. Really is basically anything. I don't think it's a colorway that's going to get in the way or compete with a pattern. So just going to throw that out there. I'd say the same is probably true with this. If you wanted a really fun, crazy colorway for like a shawl or a cowl or something, something with a lot of patterning in it, this would be pretty awesome. Whereas I feel like this one, there's more contrast, right? So maybe it might conflict with a pattern a little bit more, but maybe not. I'm not sure. I'm always surprised. No, I mean, it's not always surprised, but I'm sometimes very surprised. I'm not sure if, for example, Summer in Provence would work as a really patterned sock. I feel like they might compete, but I think it also depends on the pattern. All right. But yeah, sorry, I'm working on a collaboration right now too, and I think I'm going to hold off on talking about that in more detail until next week, because I finished up the yarn that I've dyed up for it, and I just want to touch base with the person who is making project bags to go with it. So, spoiler, that's coming up next week. All that being said, I've already blathered a little bit, and I apparently have something in my throat. So rather than keep coughing at you, I'm gonna stop. And I will see you guys again next week. Bon tricot, happy knitting. Bye.